Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your Friday afternoon habit, hashtag Chakrachat. I am Teacher Sam, and joining us in a while is our guest for this afternoon. By the way, happy Independence Day. This week's Chakra Chat is brought to you by our official media partner, Strong Radio. Thank you again for Strong Radio for making our live discussion and our virtual classes available for a lot of our subscribers and all our yogis and yoginis around our country. And you can be like Strong Radio and similar to our other sponsors who have made our programs possible in Chakra Yoga Studio. Thus, we invite our entrepreneurs out there, especially our local entrepreneurs, to help us in our cause by sponsoring our virtual yoga classes and our chakra chat sessions. Your resources will surely help us in our cause of bringing mindfulness to each person one breath at a time. We are very happy because for the past few days, especially in the month of June, we have a lot of guest teachers. Earlier this morning, we had our Backjoy Chair Yoga with me and June. And at 11 a.m., we had a very fruitful and very productive and amazing class brought to you by teacher Eileen. No? There were a lot of participants, teachers, and students alike, and it was a great opportunity for us to honor our freedom, honor our day, for this day. I'm not sure if you are going to agree with me, but for those who were able to view our live stream videos, it has been a series so far, and we have very fruitful and rich discussion so far. We talked about mind setting and positivity. We also have addressed the burning questions of our students. And in fact, 2 weeks ago, we had a more specialized session for parents and teachers. We talked about kids yoga. And that particular episode, we had our guest, who is Teacher Honey. And I think that that was a refreshing take on yoga, since I have a lot of my friends, for example, who get so intimidated or scared doing their yoga practice. But that particular session with Teacher Honey allowed us to see the inclusive nature of yoga. And we realized that yoga is actually indeed, in a sense, for everyone, because actually everyone can practice yoga, different sizes, different shapes, no, and different age groups. And definitely last week was also really interesting. I hope that you were able to catch our episode last week. We had Dr. Dash with our episode entitled The Yogini Doctor is In. Doc Dash is a neurologist, an amazing doctor who shared to us scientific researches on how yoga can actually help not just improving our brain function, but she also mentioned about the executive functions of our brain, making those who practice yoga have greater control and awareness of themselves and greater ability to respond to difficult times. And I really like our discussion with Doc Tash, especially because during this pandemic, we get to appreciate yoga even more, especially as we respond to various circumstances that are even beyond our control. Now, as Chakra Yoga would wish our subscribers to continue and help yogis and yoginis out there to deepen their practice or at least try yoga, today's episode will focus on financial wellness. If you have noticed, it seems odd, no? A yoga studio talking about financial wellness. What is happening? But if you think about it, yoga is all about the holistic development of the person. And yoga, aside from it develops holistically the person, its goal is actually to create greater balance and harmony. So do not be shocked if for the other events of chakra, aside from financial wellness, we will be talking about different aspects of life. So if you are curious about what yoga is, or if you just wanted to continue nurturing your yoga practice, or if you want to live a full life, this episode of Chakrachat is perfect for you. But before we begin our Chakra Chat this afternoon, we would like to remind those who are viewing to please drop your burning questions below so that we would be able to address them until we have our guests with us and until we have enough time to respond to those questions. Last time, just a quick anecdote. Medyo parang matagal yung warm up ng mga viewers, no? We the viewers question entered about in last few minutes of our episode with Doc Tash. So I would really encourage you that if you have a question, please drop and place your questions in the comment section below so that you might not you might so that your questions will be responded to until we have time. Baka hindi kayo makatulog if your questions are not asked, especially with our guest for today. So right now we're just waiting for our guest is actually already uh, at our virtual backstage, but we just would like to wait for the others to be tuning in our program for today. And we really hope that you would be able to drop in your comments or your queries down below. You know, our guest for today is very knowledgeable of our topic, which is financial wellness, no? And I'm very excited to learn from our speaker for today, or our guest for today. Just to give you a quick background of our speaker or our guest for today, our guest this afternoon is a registered financial planner and a Gallup certified strengths coach. No? He was a flight attendant for 7 years. And in 2012, he joined the insurance industry. Since then, he became more and more interested with the whole financial industry. Part of his advocacy is to promote and propagate financial wellness in the country and instilling a culture of smart money management. He believes in improving and enriching the lives of every Filipino by providing awareness on financial protection and wealth management. I am very happy to welcome our guest for today. I will now be bringing him in our screen, Mr. Ron Brian Magsalin. Hi, Ron. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good afternoon, Teacher Sam. I'm glad to be here dito sa
Yes.
session natin.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome, and we're happy to have you here in our show. Our title for our episode is Financial Independence During Crisis. So, medyo mabigat-bigat na topic, pero hopefully
I
through our
agree.
conversation.
Well, ano naman siya, naakumasa pa nun because it's araw ng kalayaan.
Yes. And pasok na pasok ang topic natin. Of course, we're not just talking about the independence in a historical sense, but also
Yeah.
financial independence.
Yeah.
So, Ron, how have you been? No? How are you considering our pandemic so far? What have you been busy for the past few days?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. I've been busy because I've been doing a lot of coaching sessions, specifically sa strengths-based development and of course also in financial planning. Kumbaga, mas naging busy during this pandemic. Can you imagine? Before, what we used to do was go out, meet client face to face. Now, it became more accessible for us to be meeting people because online na lang nangyayari. So, quite busy but very, very fulfilling naman yung nangyayari right now.
Yeah, I can resonate so much with the idea of being busy right now, no, with all the meetings left and right, and but I also agree that everything seems to be more accessible, especially who would have thought, diba, na even learning sessions such as this, we don't need to fly you from Manila to CDO just to be
Yeah.
here, diba?
I agree.
Now, Ron, we learned that you were a flight attendant.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, what led you with your current career as a financial advisor and a life coach? What happened to your career as a flight attendant?
First, when I was younger, parang lagi ko iniisip na I wanna travel around the world. And, kumbaga, I wanna do it. And the fastest way for me to do it is to be a flight attendant. So I was working abroad for 6 years. 1 year sa Pinas as a flight attendant and then 6 years abroad. Then
Mm,
eventually, kapag you're working abroad, eventually uwi ka din eh. 'Di ba? So when I went back in the Philippines, that was 2012. Actually, I didn't know what to do next. 'Di ba? It's just so happened that I was given the opportunity or show the opportunity to be part of an insurance company. So hindi na ako nag-isip, sabi ko, sige, gusto ko 'yan. Ang gusto ko lang kasi nun sa work was, I'm not going to spend so much time doing it or masyadong nakatali sa oras. Because when I was flying, 1 minute late is absent already eh. So hindi ka na pwedeng ano. That was just my kumbaga requirement in a career na
mhm.
I own my time. Yun yung pinaka requirement. And then yeah, it happened na hindi ko siya hinanap. It was just presented to me the opportunity to be part of a financial company or an insurance company. Yes.
Okay. You mentioned earlier, actually, I was the one who mentioned it, no,
Mm.
in the introduction that you are a life coach. What does a life coach usually do? Because this idea of having a life coach seems to be not that popular here in the Philippines yet. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, because hindi lahat ng people will really pay someone for them to talk to. Yung mga ganyan. Okay, when I was working abroad, there's ang ganda kasi ng company namin because there's a department wherein it is a group of psychologists. We call it welfare na it's free when you feel down, when you feel depressed or anxious, you can set a meeting with a psychologist. So you'll undergo some series of sessions para mas maging maganda yung pakiramdam mo because it is quite depressing working away from your family, let alone to from your own country, 'di ba? So ibang-iba yung culture. So we have that department. Then when I became an insurance advisor, it opened a lot of opportunities for me to improve myself. And then when I became a manager, I na-realize ko that I have to understand the people that I am managing. I need to know their motivations, ano yung mga hot buttons nila, ano yung mga bagay na ayaw nila, and mga bagay na gusto nila. So, I went sa isang bookstore and look for a self-help book. That was the first book na tinake ko. It's called Strengths Finder.
Mm.
So Strengths Finder, I took that book and then sabi ko, this is the way I want to manage my people. It's not just life coaching. It is about strengths-based development, learning the talent of each and every individual para ma-develop siya into strengths. So, na-realize ko na it is important for me to understand people and how to help them develop themselves. So, doon nag-start nung 2017 I took it. So, I got my certification end of 2017. Kaya na-realize ko na this is something that I really wanna do. Help people believe in themselves, help people develop their talents para maging strengths for them to be more productive and mas maging confident sa sarili nila. Ayan. So I just love the idea of actually listening to people and then providing them some insights on how to develop themselves.
Sige. Ron, you
Mm.
mentioned that you took a certification on being a life coach. How does it work? And Is that costly? And for how long have you been trained to be a life coach?
Taking the training is just, maiksi lang eh. Because hindi ka doon natututo eh. Diba? Even if you will take online courses when it comes to life coaching, it's just a very small percentage of what you need to do. You will be exposed, you should expose yourself to a lot of people. Of course, meron kang sariling stories, diba? You are the master of your own life. But for you to be able to learn more about other people, kailangan mo talaga na kailangan mo talaga na ma-expose sa iba't ibang tao. Some
Yeah.
certifications, hindi masyadong mahal. Yung iba naman, medyo mataas, like 200,000 pesos, 500,000 pesos for just 4 days, yung mga ganyan, or 5 days. So, merong medyo costly, meron namang hindi. But the learning will come from exposure, practice, listening to a lot of people, helping them, ganon. It's just that some coaches are medyo nahihiya because, of course, if you are trying to do something, nasa area ka agad ng incompetence eh, because it is something new.
Yeah.
Some people will stop there kasi hindi sila confident. Eh, paano tayo matututo, diba? So,
Yeah.
4.5 days, it's not enough. I took a lot of online courses then, and then read books, and mas natutunan ko lalo yung coaching. May process kasi strength-based development eh. It's not life coaching per se. It's more on how to develop yourself starting from your talents. Mas natutunan ko siya lalo nung mas marami akong taong nakakausap.
Mm.
Ayan, yes. Kasi you hear a lot of stories, you learn how people behave, think, or even feel. So yun yung talagang matututunan. Doon ka matututo. Hindi lang yung basta i-take mo lang yung courses.
Yeah. So, Ron, for the benefit of our viewers, what does a financial advisor do? And since you are a life coach and a financial advisor, how
Yeah.
do these two roles of yours intertwine in your day-to-day work and career?
Ayan. Yung pagiging financial advisor is very broad. Here in the Philippines, wala pa talagang profession na tawag ay financial advisor. It's actually a branding of it's a personal brand. So may financial advisor na focuses on business finance, like yung mga accountant, ganyan. May financial advisor naman na nagpo-focus sa protection, which is insurance. Meron din namang personal finance, more on money management on a personal level. So malaking scope, 'di ba? So I took a registered financial planning program for me to be able to know more about personal finance and handling and managing money of an individual, ganyan. Now I took strength-based coaching and life coaching because it affects the way we manage our money. Yung mga choices natin, money choices natin, meron kasi have you heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, di ba may physiological, merong you wanna start feeling safe, ganyan. Of course, yung belongingness also,
Belongingness,
self-esteem, and self-actualization.
actualization.
It actually affects the way we manage money. So, ang pinakauna dyan is, like yung sa Maslow, physiological, pinakauna is, when it comes to money, is about survival. Diba? So, once we start knowing the motivations of people, we will know also why they make certain money decisions. Kaya doon ko siya na napapagsama na when it comes to talking about life, it also affects career, our mental and emotional, and even physical, 'di ba? Kahit sa yoga, 'di ba, it's emotional, physical, spiritual,
Yes.
even with money, 'di ba? Some people will make money decisions because they want to feel they belong to a community, 'di ba? Some people will make money choices because they want to have this certain level of self-esteem. 'Di ba? So, na-realize ko na, yeah, I have to understand the motivations of people for me to understand also how they make decisions when it comes to their finances. Yan. Hi guys, do you can you Teacher Sam, nawala ka yata. Hi guys, can you hear me? Nawala yata si si Teacher Sam. Teacher Sam, nawala ka yata. Can you hear me? Nawala yata si si Teacher Sam. Okay, so eto na muna no. May nakikita ako na
Hi,
okay,
Ron.
cool. Let's wait for ayan.
Yeah,
Okay ka
we
na, Teacher Sam.
sent a count out. So yeah,
Ayan, cool.
grabe. So sorry, we were able to. I wasn't able to catch your last few words before the brown out.
Ayan, nice. No worries, ito. I think narinig naman nila. But what I said earlier is that mas na-realize ko how people make their decisions when it comes to their money kapag nalaman ko na mismo kung ano yung mga nagiging motivations nila, ano yung nagiging way of thinking nila and feeling and behavior.
Ron, naririnig ba ako?
Yes, yes. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
great.
Yes, I can.
We can now try to look at our comments for us to proceed with our discussion. So we have here a question coming from Teacher XT. Do you have tips
Yes.
on dealing with financial stress during this pandemic? I'm sure that a lot of our fellow Filipinos' livelihood and finances have been badly affected because of the pandemic. Maybe you can share some of the financial tips that you have in order to deal with stress during this pandemic.
Okay, nice. Let's start first talking about stress, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na good stress, meron din tayong tinatawag na na unhealthy, 'di ba? Even in yoga, no, there's a certain level of stressing the flexibility of your body, even with your mind. So, kumbaga, merong mga healthy level of stress. Meron namang hindi healthy. So, tingnan natin na when it comes to our finances, it's not becoming healthy anymore. Okay? First muna is, it's normal guys, to experience stress, even negative emotions during this pandemic. Okay? We have to acknowledge first how we feel. We have to acknowledge that people are feeling this way also. Hindi ka lang mag-isa. And when it comes to financial stress, minsan nahihirapan tayo na ando na tayo sa level ng will I be able to survive? 'Di ba? Minsan kasi nasa mataas na level ka na eh. At first you start with just being able to survive, and then habang tumatagal ka, you start having this level of safety or sustainability when it comes to your finances, and then nakakapag-ipon ka na, and then dumating tong pandemic. Bumaba na naman tayo sa level ng survival. Now, we have to acknowledge kung nasaan na tayo. Kailangan natin malaman kung ano na yung current financial situation natin. Before we can move forward, before I can even, before you will do something about the finances, kapag hindi mo pa na-accept yung situation natin, we will keep on denying. So first muna is know your current financial situation. Ano yung cash flow mo? Mas marami ba yung pumapasok o mas marami yung lumalabas? Pag nakita mo na hindi healthy, check mo muna ano yung mga expenses na pwede kong bawasan. You have to accept, guys, that we might need to give up some of the, kahit yung mga little wants natin, yung mga bagay na because the idea here is for us to survive muna the pandemic, the financial stress. If you cannot, talagang hindi na kaya, look for reinforcement. Do not be ashamed to show vulnerability. Do not be ashamed to ask for help. Because you will never know, baka may mga taong pwedeng tumulong sa inyo na nasa taas sila when it comes to their hierarchy of financial needs, that they are actually looking for people to help. Diba? May mga ganong tao na even in this pandemic, they are actually helping people kasi hindi bumaba yung nila when it comes to their finances, no? So yun muna. Una muna, guys, check your cash flow. Track your income, track your expenses. Write down your current yung balance sheet mo, ano yung mga assets mo, ano yung mga liabilities mo. Because having that, we will be able to see an illustration of where we are now. Para malaman natin, saan tayo una munang magsisimula? Should we lower down our expenses? Or kailangan na natin maghanap ng other sources of income? Kaya hindi natin pwedeng hindi ko masabi kung ano yung tips right now because it depends on where you are right now. Diba? So, ganun muna ang una nating alamin.
So, in other words, Ron, different people would have different ways of dealing financially because of the different context people has.
Yes. Kumbaga, magkakaiba tayo ng starting point eh. Diba? Kung nasaan na ba tayo. Diba? So, some people will need to just keep their cash as much as possible. Some people will really need to get more income, find more sources. Some people will need to, okay, it's time for me to buy insurance naman because I don't know if I will be able to sustain if something happens to me. Diba? So, it depends kung saan. Some people might need to sell some of their assets also. Diba?
That's correct.
Ganon. So, be aware of where you are right now. At least alam mo yung saan ka magsisimula. Ayan.
Ron, you mentioned earlier that there are unhealthy spending habits. Can you share some of those unhealthy spending habits?
Meron tayong tinatawag kasi na discretionary and non-discretionary expenses. So, dun muna tayo sa non-discretionary expenses. Ito yung mga expenses na we do not have a choice. For example, we have to spend on food. We have to spend on electricity, water, ganyan, rent.
Utilities.
So, ito yung mga expenses na pwedeng paulit-ulit. Pero meron din mga non-discretionary expenses na one time, big time. For example, biglang nagkasakit. Sabihin na natin yung dengue. Hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin, ay anak, next month ka na magpagaling. Next month ka na magpa-doktor. Kasi non-discretionary expenses yan eh. Now, meron tayong tinatawag, ito yung mga non-discretionary is for survival. Pero hindi naman tayo basta-basta, hindi lang yun ang kailangan ng isang tao eh. Yung isang tao kailangan din maging masaya. And money, meron ding may role yung money for us to be happy. Why? Because it can provide for the basic wants of people, di ba? So meron tayong tinatawag na discretionary expenses. Like for example, Netflix, ganyan. Kaya if you want, sabihin na natin yan na non-discretionary is food. Pero discretionary is buying something na outside, for example, eating out or ordering food from a well-known restaurant. So that is discretionary. Why? Because you have a choice whether to not spend on them or to delay. But spending them will give you certain level of, okay, I deserve this. Okay, I'm happy kasi nabigyan ko naman ng chance na kumain ng pagkain na gusto ko, ganyan. Now, let's talk about unhealthy finances or choices when it comes to money. If it affects your non-discretionary expenses kasi too much spending on non-discretionary. Or ano pa, hindi ka prepared kapag may nangyaring problema. So ano yung mga unhealthy? You spend your money or your resources pero hindi mo alam yung mga priorities mo in life. Kumbaga, you're spending something tapos hindi mo alam kung saan napupunta. And then at the same time, hindi mo rin na-manage mabuti yung risks when it comes to your finances. So yun yung will cause overspending. So if we are overspending, wherein money coming out or going is much more than coming in, yun yung unhealthy talaga. Ayan. Unmanaged risk, and at the same time, hindi ka nakapag-prioritize ng mga bagay na importante para sa'yo. Ayan.
Yeah. So it's very important to really prioritize which are the items that you should be spending on before you deplete the resources that you currently have.
Yes. Kaya the first question that I ask my clients, even when it comes to money, is this: what's the most important thing para sa'yo? Ano yung bagay na pinapahalagahan mo?
Yeah.
So whenever you spend money, use your money, you think about things that are very important to you. Whether it's your family, your relationships with ganyan.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's where the strength-based training that you have comes in. No, you really need to understand. Really, it starts from within.
Yes, I agree. Kaya siya nakakatulong because I get to connect to people, and then kumbaga na-relate pa yung money when it comes to the totality of themselves, yung well-being nila. Anong part ng money, ano yung part ng well-being nila, yung paggamit nila ng mga money nila. Ayan.
Okay.
Ayan. So, may question si ano daw yung tips to limit expenses?
Yes, that's a good question. So XP mentioned, do you have tips in order to limit expenses?
Dati nauso yung hashtag TBT, Throwback Thursday. Meron din akong ginawa hashtag TBT, track, budget, and test. Ano yung first muna is this: tingnan natin muna kung yung galing mo, kung naaalala mo yung mga bagay na ginagastos mo. So from this moment, mag-itemize ka ng mga bagay na ginastos mo for the past 30 days. Whether magkano yung ginastos mo sa ginastos mo sa bahay, ganyan, sa food, etc. Itemize mo lahat. And then, isulat mo yung magkano din yung naging income mo. So the idea here is you becoming conscious of the things that you are spending on and also your income, 'di ba? Ang dami kayang nangyayari na alam mo kung saan nanggaling yung money, pero hindi mo alam kung saan napunta. 'Di ba ako? 'Di ba Teacher Sam? So hopefully, 'di ba, minsan, oh my God, saan nanggaling tong 10,000 pesos ko na nasa bulsa? Sana ganon, 'di ba? Pero hindi eh. Most of the time, we ask, saan napunta yung 1,000 ko or yung 500 ko? So, first, track muna. And then, once you start tracking, marirealize mo na merong parang spillage na hindi mo na alam kung saan napupunta. Now, what you need to do, eto yung medyo mahirap. For the next 30 days, isusulat mo naman, sorry, budget pa lang pala tayo. So, track and then budget. Then, doon ka na mag-start mag-set ng limit. Okay, you are just setting a limit. Okay, budgeting. Setting a limit is just theory. Budgeting theory pa lang yan. Okay, kasi hindi pa siya nangyayari. Pero you are already trying to set a limit. Okay? The idea here is this. Magsaset ka ng budget para maset mo din kung magkano yung pwedeng matira sa income mo. You are actually setting how much you want to save on a monthly basis. Now, kunyari, gumawa ka na ng budget as nakita mo na, okay, I will be able to save 5,000 pesos. Yun yung theory. Yun yung target. Now, kapag dumating yung income mo, huwag mo munang isave yung 5,000. Bakit? Kasi hindi mo pa siya natetest. Hindi mo pa natetest kung magiging miserable ba ang buhay mo because of that saving. Or you will be able to save pero kalagitnaan babawasan mo yung savings mo kasi kulang. So hindi mo siya mabibuild yung habit. So the next thing that you will do is to test your budget. This is the time that you will check your expenses on a daily basis for the next 30 days. Ito yung medyo mahirap. Susulat mo. Ginawa ko to kahit candy, kahit piso sinulat ko. Then na-realize ko na, okay, yung budget ko pala, hindi mamimit. Siguro, kunyari, 5,000 yung target ko na ma-save, pero 4,000 lang pala. But the good thing is, aware ka na. Aware ka na sa expenses mo. Yun yung tip ko on how to limit the expenses for you guys to be aware of your expenses. Because ang nangyayari usually is that yung mga tao hindi na nila nare-realize na bumibili sila ng mga maliliit na bagay na hindi necessary. Tapos yun pala yung kapag dumating yung buong buwan, doon nila na-realize na doon pala napunta yung karamihan ng expenses nila. Unahin mo muna nating bawasan yung discretionary expenses. And wag tayong magbaba ng sobra kasi parang crash diet, hindi siya sustainable.
Yeah.
Once you start becoming conscious, becoming aware of how you spend your money, eventually marireach mo yung peak kung magkano na lang talaga yung kaya mong i-save. Diba? But the idea is for you to be aware muna. So may mga clients ako na pinapagawa ko to for the next 30 days. Sinusulat lang nila sa notes nila sa phone, ganyan, na-realize na ito pala yung ginagastos ko. Then eventually, pag alam nila na tinatrack nila on a daily basis, they think na before they spend. Ayun, yun lang yung ano ko. Huwag niyong pilitin na bawasan yung kumain ng 2 beses sa isang araw. Huwag muna yun, guys. Yung mga discretionary expenses muna yung unahin natin. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned, Sir Ron, no, that this TBT, #TBT, track, budget and test is one of the ways to limit expenses, no? So
Yes.
aside from expenses, there are also debts, no? Mga utang. And a lot of our Filipino friends have maraming utang, no, Ron? Even before the pandemic, and because of the pandemic, mas nababaon sa utang ang iba.
Yeah.
Paano ba, meron ka bang masasuggest na mga pamamaraan upang mabawasan ng utang ng mga tao?
Okay, medyo maano din yan, no? Medyo sensitive na topic, no? Kasi masasabi ko kasi na what we are experiencing right now or yung current state ng finances natin is actually a result of our past financial choices. 'Di ba? So accept na natin may mga bagay tayong ginawa, may mga decisions tayo before na nakakaapekto ngayon. So acknowledge natin yung mga past decisions natin yan. Pero wag tayong don't live in the past, 'di ba? If we will keep on regretting our choices before, hindi tayo makaka-move forward. Okay, now, what I can suggest muna is kung madami yung utang, prioritize your debts. I-rank nyo siya. Mag-inventory of debts kayo. I-rank nyo siya from very, very high priority to low priority. Paano natin siya masasabi na high priority? Kung it will affect or it will harm your family. Ano yung mga debts na yun? For example, you will lose your car kapag hindi mo siya nabayaran. You will lose your home kapag hindi mo siya nabayaran. So yun yung mga high priority debts. Ano naman yung mga low priority debts? For example is utang sa pamilya. Low priority muna, guys. I don't think that your friends will or your family members will take your home because of your utang. Okay, now, of course, as much as possible, syempre gusto nating mabayaran yung principal ng mga high priority debts. But if it's not possible, at least man lang yung interest muna yung bayaran. Now, kung merong mga debts na talagang hindi kayang mabayaran, makipag-negotiate kayo when it comes to repayment. Kasi yung creditor natin, kailangan din malaman kung ano yung situation natin ngayon. Because at the end of the day, they also want to provide you solutions. Diba? Maybe they can give you a scheme wherein mas magiging madali para sa inyo as of the moment. And then kapag na-settle na yung mga bagay, you can pay more in the future. Diba? So, pwedeng ganun muna ang gawin natin. Sometimes, can you imagine, paying debts na high priority, one way of managing those is getting a low priority debt naman. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Sometimes you will need to borrow money with less interest to pay debts with high interest rates. Diba? Ganon. Ito lang yung kailangan natin maintindihan. Our name is like a porcelain. Diba? Na pag nabasag, mahirap ibalik. Kahit binalik natin, may lamat na. Yung mga debts natin, wag nating hayaan na makabasag ng pangalan natin. And that's the most important thing na hawak natin ngayon is our name. So we don't want that to happen. But we don't want our survival to suffer also. Diba? So when it comes to debts, i-rank nyo, priority, high priority, low priority. Now, bayaran nyo muna yung interest rates ng mga high priority debts. Now, if you can borrow money with less interest rates to pay the high priority debts that will cause harm kapag hindi nyo nabayaran. And guys, kung kulang ang cash flow, we have to find other sources of income. Hindi pwedeng magre-resort ka lang sa budgeting because you can lower your expenses to a certain level lang. But the opportunity to increase your income, mas malaki yung opportunity. Kasi when you lower expenses, hanggang non-discretionary lang yung kaya niyan. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-zero expense at hindi ka nakakain. Diba? But the opportunity for you to increase your income, madami. Pwede pang unlimited. It's just that you have to have the desire to move forward than where you are right now. Yun lang. Yun yung masasabi ko, Teacher Sam.
Sige, Ron, I think it's a combination of both desire and discipline, no? For you
Yeah.
to reach out of your debt experience.
Yeah. You really need to want it. You really need to have the desire to actually get out of debt for you to do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Kasi
Mm-mm.
Ron, like I have friends, for example,
Yeah.
who are who regularly renews their debt in a
Mm-mm.
certain institution or in a cooperative and whatnot.
The problem with those is that most of the time they borrow money for just for the sake of borrowing money. 'Di ba? Most of the time they borrow money because they want to feel good, they want to buy something na hindi siya necessary. Now, ngayon nagkaroon na ng pandemic, nagkaroon ng problema sa work. Now, hirap na ngayon kahit sa mga necessary things i-sustain yung mga bagay na kailangan natin. Of course, those people na nagpautang, kailangan din nila ng money. Di ba? So, yung stress natin to provide for the things that we need and dahil meron tayong obligation sa debts natin, lalong nagkakaroon tayo ng problema. But once you start accepting, okay, I made wrong decisions, but I am going to do something about it. Yun yung pinaka-importante I think sa atin na ma-realize natin. Hindi yung isisisi na lang sa iba, 'di ba? Yung mga
Yeah.
ganun.
Sige, Ron, you mentioned earlier that there are ways on how to be financially productive. Do you have like ways on how to be creative, no? Especially during this time of pandemic. Are there financially creative ways in order to increase our spending or our resources during this time?
Definitely, no. Number one, una ko masasabi sa kanila is research on something that they can do during this pandemic. Kumbaga, meron kasi ako mga nakausap na talagang sobrang stuck. They cannot, sobrang daming nangyari. For example, nagkaroon ng pandemic, namatayan pa ng family member, parang they don't wanna move forward. So, kumbaga, sa mga ganong scenario, they just need someone to listen to them and then provide insights. Now, kailangan makaalis tayo dun right away so that we can start thinking of what to do next. So, ang daming pwede nating gawin. May mga friends ako na, of course, biglang naging businessman because of this. Di ba? Merong naglabasan mga pandesal na may ube. Alam mo yun, my friend who is doing a business with catering business, ngayon walang events, di ba? Came up with, okay, I will start selling frozen meals, di ba? Ganon. But those businesses sometimes kailangan ng kapital. Yung isa ko naman friend, sabi ko, okay, you will sell frozen food. Ang tanong ko naman is this, paano mo gagawin? Sa niya, hindi niya alam. Sabi ko, you need distributors. So some people, you can be distributors without even shelling out money. You will just market the products of other people. 'Di ba? So kumbaga yung payment mapupunta sa iyo and then kumbaga magiging middleman ka. So those are the things na pwedeng maging creative tayo. Some people meron ako isang friend, no. Isa kong advisor. He started learning about writing.
Mm-hmm.
Ang ginawa niya ngayon is, okay guys, mag-put up ako ng webinar about writing. Kunyari, social media content writing. Then, 500 pesos per tao. Sabihin na natin, umattend on the first session was 100 people. So, can you imagine? Nakita niya na there's an opportunity because maraming taong nahirapan sa pandemic. Pero guys, maraming din taong naging sobrang busy because of this pandemic. We just have to choose anong gusto natin. Mamroblema or find new ways to earn money and become busy and very productive. Diba? And again, it will be based on our personality and our kung ano yung sarili natin na we will enjoy. So para maging creative, find ways on how you will uncover and unleash your own creativity, guys. But if problema yung pera, you can find ways to earn money without actually, kumbaga, hindi ka mangangapital. Some people just need distributors. Some people gusto kailangan lang na magbebenta ng product nila, and you can be that person if you want to. I suggest you do it. Sayang malay nyo, malaman nyo na meron pala kayong talent when it comes to selling. Ganun.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sige.
Yeah.
Ron, how about, so we talked about those who are borrowing money. Pero yung mga nagpapatang, is it advisable at this moment, considering the sources, di ba, meron din mga gusto magpautang, considering it's an opportunity for them. Is it advisable magpautang during these times?
Kailangan na, alam mo yung, okay, kailangan natin ng due diligence pag uutang tayo. You need to know why. Now, kapag magpapautang ka naman, na because it's part of your business, kailangan mo ding maging, practice due diligence kung sino-sino yung pauutangin mo if you are thinking of a return. Diba? Now, if magpapautang ka because you just want to help, talagang kailangan mo rin budgetin on how much money you are going to lend to other people. So, alamin muna natin, nagpapautang ka ba because it's a business or nagpapautang ka ba because you're just helping people? Kailangan mo malaman why you are doing this. So now, kapag nagpapautang ka because it's part of your business, ibig sabihin, kapag nagpapautang ka, you are taking risks. Now, ano yung risk na pwede mong i-take, pautangin ng isang tao na to? You have to know ano ba yung purpose niya, bakit siya mangungutang. Kasi malalaman mo ba na, okay, may capacity ba to magbayad? Nangungutang ba siya because kailangan niya lang ng pampakain sa pamilya? Then, definitely, you will not expect anything in return. Kasi yun, problema, hindi yun pang business eh. It's actually helping people. Now, if this person is asking money or borrowing money because he will put up a business, diba? Siyempre, titignan ko muna yung background niya, titignan ko ano yung mga business plan niya para malaman ko magkano yung papautang ko sa kanya or kung papautangin ko ba siya. Ganon. So, kailangan pa rin natin na pag-aralan mabuti. Otherwise, it's gonna be just a charity work kapag nagpairam ka ng money without anything in return.
Yeah, and especially there are a lot of risks if we are going to lend money, especially during these times.
Yes, because it's during these times full of uncertainties di ba? Yung may mga ibang tao na hindi mo rin alam kung hanggang kailan yung magiging work nila. Even if they are working right now, employed right now, yung company nila hindi pa rin alam kung hanggang kailan nila makakayanan or masusustain yung operation ng business nila.
Right. Sige. In terms of, for example, I'm a teacher, no? By profession, not just a yoga teacher, but a teacher in the classroom. Considering that it's we are experiencing a pandemic and most of our classes will now be home-based, online, ganyan. So, of course, we will be needing new laptop, internet connection. Is it advisable to spend on these things? Because, di ba, it's an investment related to our profession naman. Di naman siya nakaka-guilty na, why am I spending this money, no, for me to avail certain laptop or internet connection?
So, Teacher Sam, tatanungin muna kita, do you think it's a need?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, ang tanong is, bibili ka ng sobrang mamahalin na na laptop or gadget kasi ang ganda. Do you think it's a need?
Hindi naman.
Di ba? So, kumbaga, as of the moment, kung my suggestion is just buy something that is at the level of a need rather than a want. Di ba? So, kumbaga, paano ka makakapagturo kung wala ka namang gadget, 'di ba? If you are a teacher, 'di ba? How are you going to kumbaga practice your profession kung ikaw mismo hindi ka makapag-provide ng service or ma-practice yung profession mo because wala tayong gadget, 'di ba? But if you can if you don't have the fund but you can borrow, of course do it, guys. Wala tayong magagawa eh. It's already a need for us eh. Ano ba 'yun? Kumbaga our profession is on the line. Kumbaga, kung hindi natin magagawa, the school might just let you go. Yung ganun lang. Ang hirap mag-adapt, 'di ba? But we have to.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Right now, Ron, no, a lot of parents, for example, are asking as well, no, considering the high fees of enrollment, yung mga ganong concerns, considering the pandemic. What advice can you give these parents?
Ulit, Teacher Sam, di ko masyadong naintindihan.
I want to
Ulit lang
mention
po.
that there are a lot of parents who are somehow complaining with the fees of different schools. What's your advice to these parents?
Oh man. Mahirap kasi yung puro complain. At the end of the day, your kids need to learn. Kumbaga, kailangan mag-aral ng mga kailangan mag-aral ng mga bata. Hindi naman kasalanan ng mga bata, hindi tayo nakapag-prepare para sa sa pampaaral nila, 'di ba? Meron nga akong why do parents borrow money? Ang tanong pa nga, pampaaral. Medyo masakit yung tanong ko pero ang tanong ko sa kanila is this. Nung pinanganak po ba siya or nung nabuntis po ba kayo, meron po ba kayong balak na pag-aralin siya? May balak po ba tayong pag-aralin yung mga bata? So sabi ko, bakit di po natin pinagandaan? Diba? So if you are going to complain, unahin muna natin tingnan yung sarili natin. Why are we experiencing this? Diba? Because at the end of the day, yung education system natin is also a business of other people. And it's not always given for free, 'di ba? Although may mga school na walang tuition, ganyan, pero meron pa rin tayong gagastusin for the benefit of our kids. The worst thing that hindi ko naman masabi the worst that can happen is totally hindi mo na pag-aralin yung bata, 'di ba? So, gagawa ka lang at gagawa ng paraan if you think gagawa ng paraan if you think that the education of your kid is something very important to you. So
Right.
might as well stop complaining and do something about it. Kasi at the end of the day, hindi rin ibibigay yan for free sa'yo. Yun lang.
Okay. Sir Ron, you
Ma-harsh
mentioned...
ba?
Man, I mean, those are good advices, no?
Yeah, sometimes kasi kailangan natin maligo ng malamig eh.
Diba? Sige, Ron, you mentioned na kailangan paghandaan ang mga gagastusin, especially, di ba, like for example, there are educational plans available na dapat pinaghahandaan ng mga magulang. Let's talk about insurance since you're in the insurance industry. Am I correct?
Yes.
So, how important is an insurance? Kasi there are some families that are not so comfortable with insurance considering they have perhaps bad experiences before that happened to them and all that. So, what's the importance of having an insurance, especially during these times?
Kaya naging madali sa akin to join the insurance industry because before becoming an insurance advisor, I was a beneficiary. Yung dad ko kasi was suffered from cancer for 5 years. So, eventually, nawala din siya, diba? So, naging beneficiary din kami ng plan niya. Although, konti lang. Konti lang naman yung coverage niya before. Pero I see that, nakita ko yung importance of being insured. Kaya when I was working abroad, I told my grandmother, yung lola ko, na Sino yung agent niya? Bibili ako ng insurance. Okay? Now, gaano ka-importante yung insurance? Ganito lang yan, guys. Kung nahihirapan tayo sa gastos ngayon, paano tayo gagastos kapag may nangyari sa atin? Diba? Kumukuha tayo ng insurance because hindi natin kaya i-sustain kapag may nangyaring hindi maganda. Para lang yung kotse, merong seatbelt, merong airbags. Ang insurance, it absorbs the impact ng financial catastrophe kapag may nangyaring hindi maganda. So for example, ang bilis mong umandar ng car, biglang nabangga, yung seatbelt will absorb that impact and yung airbags will absorb the impact para hindi masyadong matamaan yung mga nakasakay sa loob. Ganon mag-work ang insurance. For example, nagkaroon ng cancer, ang kailangang gastusin is 1 million. Meron siyang insurance, ang coverage ay 500,000. Ibig sabihin, yung insurance, na-absorb niya yung 500,000 na impact. Kumbaga, ang iti-take na lang ng tao na impact is 500,000, hindi na yung buong 1 million pesos. Now, the question is, may mga taong napasok sa insurance. Okay. It's a very, very long topic. Meron kasing tinatawag na pre-need, merong tinatawag na insurance. Yung mga nagsarang marami, pre-need po siya. It's a different industry. It's just that they offer almost the same design of products pero different industry. So yun yung mga tao na may mga negative experience when it comes to insurance. It's just that when you buy a financial product, even when you invest, even when you buy a house and lot or choosing your bank kung saan ka mag-iipon, due diligence lang, guys. You have to transact to companies na ang tanong ko nga dyan is this kapag pipili ka ng company that you are going to put your money, ang itanong mo sa sarili mo is this: kapag patay ba ako or tumanda ako na matagal-matagal, sa tingin ko kaya mas matagal yung buhay ng company nito kaysa sa buhay ko? Diba? Sa tingin mo ba mas matagal ang buhay nitong company nito kaysa sa akin? Isa yan sa sinasabi ko sa mga clients when they think about putting their money in a certain company. Alamin nila yung background ng company about their service, about their financial stability, etc. Due diligence lang, guys.
So,
Pero
Ron,
I suggest people have to be insured.
So, Ron, importante na pag pumipili tayo ng insurance, we really need to look at the background of the company providing that insurance.
Yes, definitely. Kasi at the end of the day, that's hard-earned money. Diba? Hindi mo lang iniisip din naman yung stability ng company but also the service. Can you imagine? Meron ka nga insurance pero wala naman nag-aasikasa sa'yo. Diba? Nakakainis pa din yun. Diba? So, ganun yung mga bagay na kailangan natin tingnan. But of course, nakakatakot to be apart from our money. Diba? Kasi insurance is a long-term commitment Hindi mo makukuha basta-basta yung pera mo for kunyari naglagay ka ng money dyan ngayon, bukas hindi mo agad yan makukuha So, kailangan ng trust, kailangan ng maging confident ka kung saan mo nilalagay yung pera mo, kung saan insurance company.
Sige, Ron, aside from the company's image or track record, are there any other things that our viewers would need to consider, especially in availing a particular insurance?
Ayan, may tinatawag tayong financial needs analysis. Of course, chine-check natin how much insurance do you need ba? Now, ang tanong din is, how much can you afford? Kasi hindi lang naman insurance ang priority natin sa buhay natin 'di ba? Meron tayong tinatawag na survival, kailangan healthy yung cash flow mo. then you start feeling the need for safety or sustainability. Will I be able to sustain this kind of lifestyle that I have right now if something happens to me? So before buying something, kailangan mo malaman how much do you need and how much you can afford. And make sure na kaya mo ba siyang masustain. May mga ibang tao kasi na na-excite bumili, hindi pala nila kayang isustain. Kaya ang
Right.
nangyayari is, oh, hindi ko na kayang bayaran, hayaan ko na lang. Tapos tatanong nila, pwede pa po bang mabalik yung pera ko? Sasabihin ng company, hindi na, baka, dahil hindi mo naman siya natapos. Then, malalagay na naman siya sa another negative experience sa insurance company. It's because hindi nila inalam muna kung magkano yung kaya nilang i-sustain. Yun lang.
I see. This has been very interesting, no? Insurance, debt, to other creative ways on how to be financially sustainable and healthy. Ron, for you, how do you describe a financially healthy situation for a particular person?
Okay, I will say na we are financially healthy if, number one, we can meet our obligations and responsibilities on time.
Mm-mm.
Financially healthy tayo because we do not have to bother other people when it comes to money.
Mm-mm.
Financially healthy tayo because we are on our way to achieving our financial goals, and we have the means to actually achieve our financial goals. Nagtatrabaho kasi tayo because we have responsibilities. Pero it will not stop there. Can you imagine? Nagtatrabaho ka para lang magbayad ng tubig, kuryente, magpaaral ng anak, mabuhay araw-araw. Eventually, magiging frustrated kahit tatanda kang 'di ba? Visit na tao. We work
Mm-mm.
because we also have goals in life, and our goals and dreams should be bigger than our responsibilities. That is the reason why we strive for more. Kasi matutuwa ka, biruin mo, konti-konti na-achieve mo yung goals mo. That is one way for us to know na, okay, I am financially healthy kasi na-achieve ko pa konti-konti yung mga goals ko in life. So, yun yung masasabi ko. Financially healthy, kaya mong bayaran yung mga responsibilidad mo, kaya hindi mo na kailangang problemahin, hindi ka na kailangan mamproblema ng ibang tao, and at the same time, you have the means to provide and actually buy your dreams in life. Ganun. Yun lang.
Sige, Ron, like for example,
Yun po, Teacher Sam.
how much percentage of your savings should be in your account right now? Like, para masabi natin na you're really financially healthy.
Meron tayong tinatawag na rule of thumb, 'di ba? May mga some people kasi will say na dapat 20%, 'di ba? Yung iba 20% pero million na 'yon, 'di ba? Yung iba naman, nakakapag-ipon ako ng 50% pero come on, napakakonti pa din, no? Pero sa amin, in our organization, if you are not saving 50% of your income, it's either you are spending more or your income is very low. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, kung hindi ka nakapag-ipon ng 50% of your income, maybe you need to lower down your expenses or maybe you need to increase your income. Now, bakit namin sinasabi na 50%? Because yung another 50%, merong pwedeng paglagyan ng iba. For example, helping hand or gift account. For example, I'm saving 50% because part of that is para tumulong sa ibang tao. Can you imagine? Napakagandang purpose siguro in life na you are saving because this is meant to help other people. Another part of that savings is for your wealth account. Anong ibig sabihin ng wealth account? For me to build my wealth that can be passed on to the next generations. Another thing is that nagsasave ako because I have a long-term need and I have a long-term want. Ibig sabihin, meron kang gagastusin in the future. Nagsasave din ako because part of it is for my play account. Anong ibig sabihin? Because I want to enjoy this year. So, sinisave ko din yan. And nagsasave din ako, part of my savings ay self-development account. Anong ibig sabihin nun? For me to improve my skills, for me to acquire more knowledge, or if there is an opportunity for me to grow, at least I have money. Isa yung mga hindi ito yun yung isa sa nakakalimutan palagi is a self-development savings. Biglang, can you imagine guys, you are given an opportunity for self-growth, sabihin na nating learning or a course na sobrang gusto mo, kaya lang wala kang pera because you forgot to save for it. So, ang tawag dyan is purposeful savings. If you're saving or yung savings account mo, may specific purpose, for example, this is for self-development, hindi mo siya gagamitin sa luho. Alam mo kung saan mo siya kukunin. For example, you have a gift or helping hand account, tapos may humihingi ng tulong sa'yo. Alam mo kung saan mo siya kukunin. Hindi mo siya kukunin sa ibang part ng savings mo. May mga tao kasi na masyadong matulungin, eventually sila na ngayon ang may kailangan ng tulong. Tapos yung mga natulungan nila, hindi sila kayang tulungan ngayon kasi nagkakaroon din sila ng problema. But if you know na how much you can help, at least maubos man yung helping hand account na yan, sasabihin mo lang, sorry, wala na akong pang tulong. Pero meron ka pang ibang savings for your own, for your own sake naman, whether wealth, long-term needs, play account, or self-development. Ganun, Teacher Sam. I suggest 50%. Kung hindi 50%, it's either you're spending a lot or you need to earn more.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Ron.
Thank you.
This has been a great learning experience. I really like when you mentioned about having a self-development fund. No, I read one of your posts. You were asking for professional advancement opportunities and some of your self-help books. No, so I think that's a good point. It's good that we are helping, but at the same time, we also need to allocate a certain amount of our funds for our own self-development, right?
Yes. Can you imagine a life without growth, di ba? Ang kakalungkot.
Yeah. And then, Ron, you might want to share to our viewers, where can we catch you? Do you have other engagement that you would want to advertise? That this would be a perfect opportunity.
Just in Facebook, I have a Facebook page. Kakabukas ko lang siya during this it's about self-development. Ron Magsalin, just check na lang sa sa Facebook. Wala po akong fake account. As of the moment, wala pa. So when you type Ron Magsalin, makikita niyo na yung mukha ko doon. Ganyan. And I conduct free seminars then or webinars also. So, ipopost ko naman po siya. So, once na makita nyo yun, sige lang, feel free to attend. Ganyan. Yun lang po, Teacher Sam.
Thank you very much, Ron. I'm sure that you were not just able to help our yogis and yoginis around the country in CDO, but also you have helped a lot of people, even those non-practicing yogis, to be financially free and to find financial independence during this time of pandemic. So, Teacher XT also would like to thank you on behalf of Chakra Yoga Studio. Thank you very much, Ron, for really spending time, and energy and your knowledge and expertise as well, in financial planning and wellness as well. So, salamat, and here in Chakrachat, we always say and end our classes by recognizing the good in each one, saying Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you very much, Ron, and thank
Thank
you very much
you, teacher.
for all our
Thank you,
viewers.
thank you, Stephen.
We are now ending our live broadcast of our Chakra Chat. See you next week. Next week, we're going to talk about woman advocacy. We have guests from a tribe, a group called Tribe. There are our cancer survivors women of Cagayan de Oro. So it's a very interesting session again here in your afternoon habit Chakra Chat. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you.